Welcome back to Durban. I mean, usually in that line I use welcome back to sunny Durban. Well, not this morning, unfortunately. The sun has decided to hide behind the rain and the clouds, and it doesn't matter though. It's still got a wonderful atmosphere here in Durban as we come to you from the end of tourism in Indaba 2016. Today's the last day. It started on Saturday. It's a 3-day, I think one could call extravaganza when it comes to the tourism industry and everything that has to do with showcasing tourism here in South Africa and of course the rest of the continent, because remember that a lot of the continent comes here to what has been described as one of the biggest tourism indabas in the world. So not to have a presence here is not a good thing for your company or your business. So mind me while I just fix up my hair here with all of this wind blazing around me here. I can't tell you, it's a very windy morning out here in Durban, but let's talk about Durban tourism, shall we? And there's nobody better to talk about that with the head of tourism here in Durban. Of course, we've got Philip Sithole, and he has got some very interesting things to tell us about what they've been doing on the sidelines of Indaba 2016. Good to have you on Morning Live. Welcome.
Morning, ma'am. We are happy that we are the host of Indaba, and Indaba we've been part of Indaba for decades now, and it continues to project our destination in a positive way. Yeah. So it's a global platform.
I'm sure you don't want to lose Indaba, even though I know it's been spoken about that it's time to move it to different provinces and different cities around South Africa, but I'm sure you're going to do your best to try and keep it here in Durban.
Well, Durban is the home of Indaba, so if they take it away, it will be a very unfortunate situation, but we hope that the national government will make sure that it remains here, but because that's what connects us mostly with South African tourism, so we'd love to keep it here.
Excellent. Let's talk about the events that have been happening alongside Indaba 2016, because quite an interesting event that took place was this weekend in uMlazi with many of your smaller businesses that work in tourism. Talk to me about that.
Well, the objective of eThekwini municipality is to make sure that we use events like these to boost the economies in our own communities. So townships, they have to benefit when we have events of this magnitude. So Durban Tourism, working with small businesses in the township, put together a program on how do we expose the experience and the products that are in the townships. So on Saturday night, we had an event at Max's Lifestyle in uMlazi, where we were hosting delegates from Australia. I think there were about 100 of them, which is good. I mean, because that's how you expose your brand globally. Yeah. And then yesterday, we had close to 200 exhibitors and media from all over Africa, including Europe, again in uMlazi in another club called Eyadini. So this is part of boosting local economies. It's part of showcasing Durban in its totality.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love the idea, and I think that's great. But in reality, does it work? I mean, do you see tourists going into the townships, enjoying the life, enjoying what's on offer there, staying in a township for a night? I mean, is this something that is taking off, or is it still a very difficult idea to sell?
Well, it's still a very difficult idea to sell, but we have to soldier on. 5 years ago, you wouldn't take delegates to Inanda, uMlazi or KwaMashu, but these days, I mean, people are looking forward to it. We are talking about just this weekend, this past weekend, we are talking about close to 400 delegates from Indaba that have been taken to experience the townships. Yeah. These are things that we could not have done in the previous years, but because of our efforts in working with our partners, South African Tourism KwaZulu-Natal, and many others, so we've been able to do this. But look, we can do more if we can get partnership from the private sector. So we need hoteliers, we need big tour operators to be part of this agenda, because if we don't disperse visitors to other parts of the city, then communities would feel left out. So, I mean, going back to your question and respond directly, yes, we are seeing numbers growing, but we think there's still room for improvement.
Excellent. Well, Listen, I think that's been a great theme of this year's Indaba, which we're going to delve into a lot deeper here on the program, talking about the small businesses and how they've been able to benefit. But Philip, thank you so much for talking to us here on the program. Good luck for the last day. Hope it goes well. And forget about the weather. Don't worry about it. It's still beautiful just to smell the sea air. That's a fact.
Well, thanks. I mean, Durban remains to be the warmest place to be, irrespective of the weather.
Indeed. You're quite right about that. Philip Sithole, thank you so much for talking to us here on the program. Philip, of course, is heading up the tourism of Durban here, and it's wonderful to have him as a guest.